I know that you've all been prepared for this, but I thought I'd just remind you just the same.
Can you handle that, Blondie?
Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
It was pure evil.
I want to buy some radio ad time.
Ain't a do a treat. We're Irish. Welcome back for another episode. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, Noel John Tui.
We got Carmack in the back, and this is Invasion of the Potty Snatchers. Let's get to it, motherfuckers.
I tried to catch the fog. Missed.
Shocking. So, alright, no, we're back again for another episode, as you alluded to in your hilarious joke in the intro. That today we're doing the 2007 and fucking Stephen King Stephen King adaptation, The Mist, and this is the latest installment in our History of Horror series. Noel, watching a movie and fuck, I'm so tired right now.
I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought, I was saying to you, I thought, I know this play by play, I'll just watch it, refresh the memory. But
yeah. No,
there was a lot of it that kind of, I had been lost to me over the years, so I got to kind of enjoy it again for the first time, you know. Although I was like, you are in the car at the end. Because that shit doesn't leave you.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the shit. I enjoyed a good siege movie, and that's what this was. This was a really Stephen King take on a castle. They're fortified, but for how it's not tenable, and there's an unassailable force outside, and then that Miss Craden or whatever.
No, he was Drayden. Her name was Carmody, I think.
Carmody, that's the one. But she was like the zealot within.
There's always one, isn't there?
Because you need that. You need the corrupt cop or the spy soldier or whatever it is. Yeah, you do, because otherwise it's great, because there is nowhere that isn't tense.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very tense film.
Yeah, you need there to be conflict, interior and exterior,
and this does this beautifully.
Yeah,
and I think a siege lends itself to that kind of concept very easily.
Yeah,
I think it's an easy ground. I just thought it was really well executed.
Yeah,
I just all I know is I enjoyed it. It didn't really speak to it didn't creep me out at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a scary movie.
Yeah.
But it is a horror movie.
Yeah, it's a tense
good horror
movie.
Yeah, it's a tense movie.
Yeah.
That's it. It's uncomfortable, and that's one of the basic tenets of horror, is that it's a safe way to become uncomfortable. But I enjoyed it immensely. I like the fact that they weren't afraid of a tragic ending, that it didn't wrap itself up nice and neatly. They had engaging characters, and the flaws of humanity were laid out bare. Like, the second that we're only ever like one really fucked up thing happening from turning on each other.
Yeah,
so it does that really well too.
Kind of like with what's his name? Ollie Weeks, Toby Jones, is that his name?
Toby Jones, yeah.
Was it him that points out earlier on? Is like the entire.
It's basically an insane creature. Basically insane.
No, do you remember he's like the entire front of the store is plate glass window. Remember they thought they were like safe, and he goes, "But what are we going to do about the store?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" Well, the entire front of the store is plate glass window. And then they're like, and they all just look at the glass, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I love about that, because you think you're safe, but you're not really, though. Like, not even a little bit, really, when you look at it. And that's what I just love about that, because they're constantly like, we're a little bit safe, and then they're straight away they're reminded, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, not even that you're not safe. You don't even know what you're in danger from.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, because you don't even know how to prepare for it correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one thing that really annoyed me about this movie is why don't they all just stay in the storeroom?
Yeah. Just because you don't have much of a film. I literally just kind of go like,
there's one door out there.
Yeah.
So just like everybody picked all the supplies. There's like 30 people there.
Yeah, exactly. Toiletries, food, and water.
A couple of buckets, a couple of mop buckets, just in case you have to shit or piss. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like literally everybody could empty off those shelves in 20 minutes.
Oh yeah,
like just like every bag, bring every bit of food in the back, block up that one door, and then you have that big steel door that already proved that the Yuck had a hard time getting through because it was running along it.
Yeah,
and
one of the more dangerous creatures that show up in this is whatever the fuck that tentacle thing is.
Some sort of squid thing is.
Yeah, and that wasn't able to just burst through the door. So no, you're right.
You know what I mean? That's every time I watch that movie, it's like, why are you staying in the only weak part of the entire store?
Yeah,
the back part of every big supermarket is a warehouse.
Yep.
And warehouses are pretty solid.
Yeah, they're designed to not be able to break it, because that's where all the good stuff is.
Yeah, exactly. Because like most warehouses, no windows.
Yeah.
And all they have is one big massive steel door.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then you have that one entrance out into the store.
Barricaded.
Yeah, immediately I would be like, Mrs. Carmody, do me a favor, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because I will execute you.
I would have said that,
immediately.
like, if you're going to go like chosen one kind of thing, like take a step out there, see how it goes.
Yeah,
you know, like
she actually, remember that line she says to one of the, go outside, take a stroll in the mist if you don't believe. I love that line. I was just
tell the devil something. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was cool.
Fucking
she
like a midget.
We're one of those little creatures that was kind of crawling up her. It had a sting that killed the store clerk.
Alexa Develos, who's actually, I remember saying for record, the main character plays Juliana Crane in Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle.
She's amazing in it.
But like it killed her, but Yuan just sat still, and of course it's the same thing. It's always the same with the religious zealot. If they survive something that they maybe like, if they beat the odds,
here's the miracle.
It's a miracle. Yeah. So then, of course,
it's interesting though. Why didn't she get stung?
Yeah, well that's it. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Though, like,
she just like do what you should do. Like,
I think she says, "I'm in your hands" or something like that. Or, your will be done, or so. I think that's what she says. Your will be done, or something. She's got some great lines in it. But like,
she does, and she plays. You know, she just plays the zealot so well.
But like, if I was in a situation, and I'm going to warn any religious person, if I'm in a situation that's apocalyptic, and you start quoting scripture. You're getting knocked the fuck out immediately. Like literally, I'd be like straight away. I'd be like, I don't hit women, but I'm going to just save us a bit of. Yeah. And I'm just like, what happened? I think she fell. She fell horrifically onto my fist somehow.
I don't hit women, but like gravity does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just got to direct her towards the ground with my fist. Yeah. Is that okay with everybody?
No, I would be like, you need to, like, that would be the festering in the camp for me straight away.
Yeah.
Like, the Lord is testing us, not out.
Out. Yeah, I'd be like, actually, do you know something? I think I left my Bible in my truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you help me go get it? Because, you know, His will be done. And to understand the scripture that you're quoting right now, I think I need a term of reference. And I left my St. James's outside. Let's just go for a quick one. You go first. Ladies first.
Yeah, exactly.
Ladies first. And then I'll be just like locking the door behind her, like, you know.
And I will follow in your light.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you take a walk through the mist. You just have a quick, you know what I mean? It's always that bitch.
I thought there wasn't even the downtime in this film. I thought it was kind of cool. You always, because the characters were engaging enough that you gave a shit about them. You didn't mind. It never felt like it was slogging. You had enough like big scenes.
Yeah.
You had the fucking spiders that spit the like acid webs and shit like that. It had those weird flying things that were eating the smaller flying things.
Kind of looked like something of Evolution.
Some sort of gigantic scorpion type thing. And then there was the squid monster, and I'm probably forgetting some stuff.
Yeah, I think like whatever or parallel dimension that leaked through. Yeah. Because remember they're talking about the experiments
the soldier, doing.
I think it must just been like an insect dimension or an arachnid dimension or some shit. Like, because everything just looked like it was,
or where everything just evolved differently.
Or even it's in a more primordial state of evolution. Because like in our own history, there's gigantic insects.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? Like, so for all we know, it could be in a time machine. And there's all this stuff poured through, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought, like, one thing I loved about The Mist is that it kind of poses a lot of questions and hints at a lot of stuff, but then it's just like, here's a bit of information, because he wouldn't know.
Yeah, he wouldn't know.
This guy wouldn't know.
But I like that. Yeah, I do. I like that.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, I hate that when he went on to The Walking Dead. It was like, why would they know? They kind of do end up.
And Frank Darabont was the guy who adapted that.
Yeah, why would you know? Like, what if you woke up in a 20 days later scenario?
Yeah,
it's just everyone's losing their goddamn mind, and you go into survival mode, and the internet's down. Yeah, the phone lines are down. The radio is down.
Yeah,
the radio, just emergency transmission. You don't get to know shit.
Yeah,
that's how it would be. That's what would make it horrific.
Yeah,
you know.
The thing about what I loved about Rick when he wakes from his coma in The Walking Dead is when he's going through and he's trying to understand the situation, and he sees like your one and all her stomach's like fucking eating out, and he goes through the hospital, and you're trying to explain it in your mind, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah,
and then you have the don't open, dead inside, or everyone takes the piss out. It's like don't dead open inside.
I wanted to talk about Miss Carmody a little bit. I want you know the way when they have that bad character, you're always like, yeah, she's going to like cause an awful lot of problems, probably get some good main characters killed, which she did.
Yeah.
But she's going to get completely and totally disemboweled by like the biggest bad we've seen yet.
Yeah, which she didn't.
I forgot that like fucking Toby
Jones takes her out.
Yeah, Toby Jones like shows up like one bullet in the stomach, and then when she's dealing with the shock of being shot, just one right in the cranium, and I was just like, that was refreshing. Usually it's very grandiose. Usually it's like, completely disemboweled and torn apart, like Silent Hill. Yeah. Remember Silent Hill? It was like barbed wires up the skirt. It was absolutely like horrific and over the top, and which was cool. But like with this, I thought, just somebody, because we were joking about it, but somebody in the store, when she starts calling for the child to be sacrificed,
what the fuck?
And the whore,
expiation,
and the expiation. At that point. And of course people are following her, so that it is like you or her at that moment. That is a completely self-defense kind of moment,
and she's not even allowing them to leave because they just want to leave at that stage. You know what I mean? Like
that's it. They just wanted to get out, and a bullet in the side. I thought that was one of my favourite parts of the film. There was nothing about this film that I hate, not at all.
I know it's a very solid movie. Frank Darabont makes only good movies. He had Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption. He adapted the first season of The Walking Dead, which is probably still the strongest season of The Walking Dead. Like you know what I mean? But
some of the special effects the special effects were as good as they could be. They needed to go CGI.
Yeah, I think it's a low enough budget movie.
And it's a low enough, but it's a relatively small, like 25, 26, which for like, a Hollywood production
18 million.
18. Well, there you go.
Yeah, which is
by the time you get your crew together and your contracts for your actors signed, an awful lot of that money is eaten up. But at the same time, it wasn't bad. We're watching it 14 years later, which in terms of CGI is actually a very long time.
Yeah. Especially nowadays.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 years ago we just seemed to cross a line.
Yeah, like 74 and 91 would be far less of a difference in terms of technology than it would be in 2007.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But
you can't. It's a product of its time, and it's a product of the constraints that just existed for it, budget-wise and just technology-wise.
And in a sense, the creatures that came from the mist were secondary to what was going on in the store.
Yeah.
So it was more...
but see, the creatures in the mist were neither good or bad.
Yeah.
They were just higher up the food chain.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, they just leaked into our universes about how you react to that sort of situation.
And that was it. It was it was actually a human story.
Yeah.
And it was exactly right. People would somebody would pipe up and try and take lead. People would turn on each other at the turn of a dime.
One of my favourite parts of the story was, when they go remember the guy gets set on fire and then they have to go and get medical supplies from him in the chemist.
Yeah. And this was the spider scene.
Immediately I would have been like, I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah.
Because he's like 90 degrees covered in burns. 90% of him is covered in burns.
Yeah.
And do you know how quickly people get a dive infection due to that kind of burn?
Yeah.
Pretty fucking quickly.
Actually, the fact that he's talking, I have to say, very impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But one of my favourite parts when they go to the chemist and after they come back, I'll talk a bit about the chemist in a second. When they come back, William Sadler is like, he's so horrified at what he just saw.
Yeah, they actually turn around and he's already in the prayer group.
Yeah, do you remember that? And he's like, expiation!
Yeah.
He wakes up from when David Drayton passes out, remember, he wakes back up and he's like, how long have I been out? And she's like, most of the day. And then all you could hear is her like giving her sermon. And your man, as you said, like he's like holding his cap real tight.
Yeah.
Because he snapped mentally after what he saw in the chemist.
And that's the thing.
After what he heard
again, that would be, it does, I believe in my absolute limited knowledge, it does human psychology quite well.
Yeah.
People panicking and looking for something to believe in, and the fact that you're walking around with confidence, even just that, when I'm at my lowest and we're both in the same scenario, fine, like fucking, what do you know? I'll latch on to you.
Yeah.
You probably would. You think you probably do something really, really strong and shit. I don't know, man. Some of that shit that guy seen would break me.
See, I'm an arachnophobic.
Oh yeah, you'd lose your shit.
The chemist would have been very interesting for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like, because they'd be all like, did you hear about interdimensional? I'm like, giant spiders. They're like, but interdimensional, and there's a secret cover. Giant spiders.
I did see a comic strip, and it was like a guy with a gateway. It's funny. It's very relevant. And he was like, I've discovered a world completely like ours, except they've completely eradicated crime and homelessness and wealth disparity. The only problem is there's like 7% more spider, and it's just him and the machine being set on fire. With a flamethrower, like,
too fucking right, man. Like literally
7% more arachnids, and in
Oh,
Utopia,
man.
you're like, no.
I'm constantly like playing like shooting games and shit, and it's always like, I'm like, why is it always giant spiders?
Yeah.
Every time.
Because they're scary.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
There's a primordial fear we have of spiders.
Oh, could you imagine though, like what tarantula could do for 60 feet tall? Like, you know what I mean? It would tear buildings in half.
Oh, yeah, literally.
You know what I mean? Like right before I
Imagine what
ass.
imagine what its webs could do.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
considering they're actually an incredibly durable,
Or like a cockroach that spits acid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, you know, imagine what our termites.
But that was it. That's what the film was. Like, whatever the hell that tentacle thing that took out the Shermanator. His name was Norm in this.
Yeah, no, I doubt it. I think it's Shermanator.
It's Shermanator.
Let me check the cheat sheet. Yeah, Shermanator.
Shermanator.
Yeah. Producer
like,
me here confirms it's Shermanator. Yeah.
But like the tentacles themselves seem to eat. You know what I mean? As opposed to like pulling you apart and then eating, but the tentacles themselves had mouths along it or whatever the deal was.
They're suckers.
Yeah.
Like an octopus or a squid. And I think that the suction was so strong
that it was tearing chunks off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's probably it, actually.
I love the line though. They're like, they were like, it was his idea or something. It's not our fault. He didn't. Yeah, he wanted to go out there. We didn't know.
He's a kid. He gets to be stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah, he's supposed to be stupid. Yeah, I love that line. Like, because the one thing I like about this movie is that Thomas Jane is like what's going on here makes no sense.
Yeah,
like literally, he's just like literally from second one, he's like, what's going on here makes no sense. Yeah. The only thing we can do is try and make our situation here as safe as possible.
Yeah,
and then just eventually he's like, we just need to leave. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of realistic because he doesn't try to go, oh, these creatures might have a weakness. Maybe they're weak to this. And even though he uses fire later on, everybody
about blinking lights and fire.
One of my least favorite things was like, they leave all the lights on. Anybody not know what a moth is?
Yeah.
Anybody not know what a fly is? Any insect in the world is attracted to a light.
Yeah. Because it represents heat.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it just represents heat.
Yeah, and it could even be a case of like, did you see something? That's because like their vision could be shit for all we know, you know what I mean? So it could be just a case of like everything's great and then that just stands out, like as you said,
black
like
out the windows, use candles.
Yeah, 100%. The first thing you'd be doing is like looking for spray paint.
Yeah.
Spray paint all the glass.
Or spray paint.
Yeah, or they have tape. I'm sure they have black bags.
Yeah.
Refuge bags.
That's excellent.
Yeah, you know
that one we know they do.
Or newspapers.
Because one thing you would say like, oh, well, it's not a DIY store or it's not, but you're absolutely right. Newspapers, trash bags,
kitchen towel, anything like that.
Just anything that can block lights.
That you could wet even. You won't even need tape.
Yeah.
Just get newspaper.
Be like, oh, but you can see the thing coming. Okay, the thing that's out there is a 60-foot scorpion monster.
Yeah.
All right. If it comes in, we'll know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and if it's coming, do we really want to know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because and I'd be like, while you're blacking out those, I'm just going to hide out in the warehouse.
Yeah, I'm going to hide out in the fortified warehouse.
Yeah. Do you know the way like that's a 60-foot window?
Yeah.
How about we don't do that?
You can stay out here by the dog food if it means that much to you.
Yeah. I was like, actually, give me a bag of that just in case shit goes down.
Yeah.
Because I want my coat to look fine when the world ends.
But I did just enjoy it so thoroughly. I love the fact that you didn't always get what you wanted. We got Mrs. Carmody got taken down, and that's great. But then, like four main of the 5 main characters are left standing. Like, you know, he kind of tries to murder suicide, and he like spares. He doesn't shoot himself as an act of bravery, because he would face like being torn apart by the monsters. And then of course everybody in the store that tried to sacrifice the kids, some of them get to survive. Yeah. Like, I love it. It's just like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Like nothing about the film. You get like a little bit of fuck you karma, and then you get like something that is so far the opposite, and the whole thing ends not being fair.
It's the kind of a case though, whenever anybody loses their faith in it, that they get killed.
Yeah.
Or something bad happens to them. Yeah. Like, he lost the faith in the original idea, so decided to run. And then
so they reached like, you know, dead end.
Yeah, and the wife found the wife's dead as well, remember?
Yeah.
She would have got it pretty early on because the mist was going right.
The mist seemed to be coming across the lake towards them. Wherever woman with 8-year-old child, as she shows up on her cheat
Melissa
sheet.
McBride, that's Carl from The Walking Dead.
Wherever she was, she obviously made it to her car and went the right direction, or happened to live in the right direction.
Well, they always say in the terms of like a natural disaster or something, get out early as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so
timing is everything. Yeah,
like the way I look at it is the military base. Obviously, they don't know at this stage what's going on, but like, the mist is coming across. If like before it engulfs the whole place, so you're not trying to get out of there. That's what I'd be looking. They're like, there's something in the mist. I'm like, cool. Let's even catch my car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, if I have a car, like, and I'd be like, okay, let's see how fast I can run.
Yeah.
Because I know this town pretty well. I lived here my whole life or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
More like missed me. What?
yeah, what the? But like, if I was in like Port Leash and that mist starts rolling in, there's like, oh, there's something in the mist. I'm like, my sense of direction is trash, but I know Port Leash really fucking well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, let's see if the insect knows Port Leash really well, because I think I might be able to know it better than him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but at the same time, he just walked away going, yeah, that was... I don't know, it just spoke to a lot of the stuff I love about horror, the tension, the kind of lack of... You know, I just like things not working out.
Yeah.
Because that's how that shit would play out. I hate when they're able to wrap up something so insurmountable inside in 90 minutes. This film did that in spades.
Yeah.
Like, the most common thing in horror movies, for my money, is not sticking the landing.
yeah.
Is a good horror film that does not stick the landing.
Yeah.
The killer, the big reveal of who the killer is can often be like huge letdown, things like that.
Yeah,
But this
telegraph
film
them either way.
stuck the fucking landing.
First time I seen this movie, I was just gobsmacked at the ending.
Yeah, same.
Like
Absolutely.
absolutely gobsmacked, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like I never saw that coming. I thought it was literally going to be how it looked.
Yeah,
That-
I thought the camera was we're just going to fade to black, and we know Thomas Jane's David
We'd
is
see
doomed.
the creature loom over,
or something like, or a shadow,
yeah,
a massive
exactly.
shadow. All
Yeah.
these kind of things
You know,
I can
like that
imagine.
still that goes around of him, and then it's the creature, that gigantic creature, and you can see its silhouette in the mist.
Yeah,
That would have been happy
Yeah.
at that at the end. That's how I thought it was.
but
gonna
turns out
end.
it was flamethrowers and
Yeah.
soldiers and survivors.
And the rumble is a tank.
Yeah, and the rumble is a tank.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, like, what a great ending.
Yeah, and I love
like, it's
the
a
way-
10 out of 10 ending.
Yeah, and I love the way they're all driving through, and they're wondering why he's literally horrified at their
Yeah.
presence instead of rejoicing.
Just dropped on his knees.
Yeah,
he's just shot his
yeah.
son. Like, and everything he's done up to that point, he's
Yeah.
faced down like these creatures. Everything was like, he was obviously motivated by keeping his kid alive.
Yeah, he just killed 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He just killed
said
4
one of
people.
them's his son,
Yeah.
like.
And one of them was his son. Probably shot him first.
Oh yeah, definitely, because he was waking up.
Yeah.
I was like, Daddy, what are you doing? Shh.
Yeah.
She's like, just look at this bullet. Bah, 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 bah.
Brah, brah.
He just shoots the kid 4 times. It's just like I actually
Mussolini, Hitler, and Toby were in a room, and I had 2 bullets. I'd shoot Toby twice.
Imagine that though. He shoots the kid 4 times, and he just goes, "Oh, look at that! We had petrol after all." Just drives off.
Don't tell my wife your wife's dead. Score.
And he's like, "Ask your one out."
But no, man, I just thought it was a fucking cool movie. I thought more movies should take the template of it and just kind of run with it. It's just a siege.
Yeah,
Kind of.
it's a really smart movie that has really dumb moments though.
Yeah. You know
Like
what? I
most
think
horror.
that's true. I
Yeah.
think there is a bit of silliness in it.
Yeah.
Like, some of it was even zany or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
How quickly they cave as well.
How quickly they caved, or when they were pulling the half body back.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you can clearly feel on the rope that, like, you're not
Yeah.
pulling a man back.
Yeah, just let go of the rope.
Let go of the rope.
Yeah,
And they're pulling blood. Remember one point they're just
literally
pulling blood.
cut your losses.
Yeah, cut your losses. Yeah, and I thought, yeah, and it was like the neighbor, the Andrew Proctor played the neighbor Brent, I think was his
Yeah.
name. And I thought, like,
Captain Holt.
I thought there was going to.
Nine.
I thought they were going to do more with him.
Yeah,
Eventually, he just wanders into the mist, and he's never seen again.
yeah.
And that's it.
I think that's the way it is. There's like no grand ending for anyone.
Yeah, but again, I like sometimes, like, it's good in one sense because there's a randomness to it.
Yeah, I expected to see him at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a survivor, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that as well, but
So, he must have died, do you think?
I assume so, yeah.
He left at the same time the guy that got cut in half died.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whatever,
So-
he would have been in that vicinity.
You know,
Yeah.
the best predictor for future events is past events. And that dude just got cut in half.
Yeah, it does not look good for you.
Yeah, again, they
The
should have
soldier
maybe-
that they sacrificed and put out, and he was like,
Sam
"Please."
Witwer.
So yeah, and he just gets pulled up. I thought that was cool. It just had enough stellar moments to be a good film. It's like a 4 out of 5 star film with a 5 out of 5 star ending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just an absolute stellar ending.
Yeah,
and just too much fun for even whatever flaws, the silliness, the kind of like everyone jumping, everyone kind of falling apart so quickly.
Yeah.
I just can't hold it too
Yeah,
much.
because it might happen.
Because it might happen.
Yeah, especially
And
when
also,
faced with something like that,
I just liked it. I was just... you
Because
see so many disappointing horror movies and then you just kind of go, there, this isn't even the most genius horror film I've ever seen. It's just done well.
Yeah.
It's just executed well.
That's what
And I
Darabont
appreciate-
does, though.
Yeah,
Like,
and I appreciate
Does
that.
he even make bad films? Like
I don't know.
Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, The Mist.
Well, they're not good examples of bad films.
Yeah, you know, all Stephen King adaptations as well.
Yeah.
Green Mile and Shawshank came out of the same book as Stand By Me. Stephen King's a fucking legend.
Wow. Yeah, no, Stephen King is a legend.
Seemingly his endings do be weak though, don't they? It's so hard to stick that.
See, that's the thing. Sticking endings, man. Sticking endings.
Like that whole ritual it should.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Was fucking trash.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
It could have been anything else and I would have been happier.
Yeah.
Like literally anything else.
Yeah, even just the normal defeat him by not being afraid of him.
Yeah.
It kind of mortalizes
Set
him or
him on fire
weakens
or
him.
something.
Just kill him. Kill him old school.
Yeah.
Like,
or
actually,
even if there was like literally a potion that you could like, if you get this potion and you set it on fire and it'll burn green or some bullshit. And
or
like,
trap him and starve him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Trap him and starve him. Yeah, no, but that was it.
If that box was literally a trap for Pennywise.
And he just basically, he'd survive 30, 40, 50 years, and you could finish with somebody like having it somewhere safe, somewhere he can't escape from. I don't know.
Or they're lowering it into the ground and pouring cement on it or something. Yeah. Somewhere no one could get it.
Somewhere no one would see it for hundreds of years.
Yeah, underneath like one of their houses or something.
Yeah, like, absolutely. Yeah. Like Mike. Yeah. Mike who...
Yeah, or bury him with Stanley or something.
Yeah. Poor old Stanley gets the worst of it.
Bitch.
But this film stuck the landing.
Yeah.
Thomas Jane's David absolutely falling apart. Like, horrified by the fact that they'd survived it because he had nothing left to live for and he had just done something so unforgivable. Well, something that is forgivable but you'd never forgive yourself for. Honest to God, if he'd hung out for 40 seconds 40 seconds he would have they would have all just gone, you know, they would have been eaten in shelter.
Like, I'm telling you one thing, right? If I'm in a situation like that and there's giant insects everywhere and I run out of petrol or whatever and I'm with my kid, I'm going to say to my kid, we're just going to run for it.
Yeah.
I want to just run for it. I'm not going to give up on life immediately.
Yeah.
Because what if you get to a house and you're safe for a few days? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like, literally, I'm just going to run for it. Like, because if one of those gigantic creatures kill you, you're dead instantly.
Yeah.
Like, instantly. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
or even just stay in the car because it seems to need the mist to actually move around.
Yeah.
Like the big ones seem to.
You think it's their atmosphere?
I think it's their atmosphere. I think the smaller insects were able to. I think the things that flew in, maybe they wouldn't have survived too long had they stayed out of the mist. And I do. And I think the fact that they were able to keep the mist was kind of denser than normal mist. They couldn't just like float into the store. So I do think it was like their atmosphere. Yeah, I think it came through with them. So I would have stayed in the car and maybe took my chance. Or like you said, make a run for it.
Yeah.
Anything was better than if you shoot your kid in the head, he's going to die.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That's guaranteed. And you still have the 4 bullets.
You still have the 4 bullets. No, it's a quick death.
Yeah.
So that is.
But it's a very big. It's a defeatist.
That's a what would you do?
Yeah.
That's a moral dilemma.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd shoot the kid.
Yeah. I think we should ask Lenny and the boys what. I think that's one of them.
I think that's one of them.
Yeah, I think that's a good one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming for you, Lenny. Do you want to take a break?
No, I just wonder where we are.
27 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'll bring us to the break every time.
All right.
You don't have to worry about the time.
Oh, thanks,
I
man.
got you.
Oh,
I mean,
bless your cotton socks.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me, what were your favorite thing about this film? What was your least favorite thing about this film?
My least,
if you have to.
All of it was the fact that they stayed in the store and not went into the warehouse.
Yeah, when it's
such
it
a
is
dumb
always
fucking
very
thing.
frustrating when it's something very simple.
So, man, if I'm like, someone's like, oh, there's zombie apocalypse outside and we all get to Aldi, I'm like, let's go straight into the warehouse.
Yeah.
The last
like,
thing I
you
do,
could even like, okay, you need to
leave 5 people out there.
Have somebody running, getting into the mist, running. Something attacks something heavy like a van, and the van hits the wall, and the mist gets into the warehouse a little bit. Warehouse is suddenly off limits. Yeah. Like you can work it into it. That whatever you can work into.
Or a fire breaks out.
Or a fire breaks out. Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Like, it's very easy things to do, like, you know what I mean? Whereas you can.
But at the same time, with the way it was laid out, that was a fortified warehouse with enough to keep them in toiletries, water, and food for a week.
Oh, easily.
And so that first 3 days, at least, I wouldn't move anywhere if I had to.
Oh, 100%.
Just literally.
Just hunker down.
This is where you live now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like just hunker down. That's it. There's one way in, one way out, except for that big steel door.
Yeah.
And if you want to, and you're worried about them not knowing if they're coming, leave 2 people outside on watch every now and again. Yeah. 4-hour watch or something.
And you do a 300 on them. You bottleneck them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a stronger force, but you bottleneck them.
Yeah, and you just keep trying to survive.
Yeah, and just take the strongest or most capable people in the store taking 6-hour shifts,
and take
watching the
most
front.
religious people, just leave them outside.
Yeah, let
know
them
what I
see
mean?
if their prayers help them.
Yeah,
That would definitely be my call.
Jesus save us all. But like my favorite part of the whole movie would probably be the reaction to the pharmacy scene, and I loved how defeated they were after that.
Oh yeah.
Not only,
Especially, your man the catching there, and he bursts open the spider.
and he told him the information as well. He was the exposition dude.
Yeah.
He was the guy who was like, oh, we were doing something, we didn't know what was going on, we didn't know what we released or some shit, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
And then trying to comprehend that, and then he just bursts into tiny spiders to start killing people.
I love the fact he starts screaming, and then like you see he falls down, and he's already been hollowed out from the back.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was he screaming? Lungs? You know what I mean? Like,
it's just like a release of air from the spiders. Just like,
yeah, well, that's it. It was all the spiders screaming inside of him. But yeah, that was just a cool scene where they're all dodging the webs.
Yeah.
That was excellent. Yeah, that was a cool scene.
But yeah, so do you want to say more before we go to the break?
No, I think we can go to the break.
Yeah, go to the break and we come back and we can maybe talk a bit more about the cast, because I think that's where it's at strongest.
I think you are onto something there.
Yeah, because a lot of them are Walking Dead alums, and I want to touch on that because I said Frank Darabont adapted the Walking Dead season 1.
I think it's cool if you work with people, they're professional, you trust them,
Of
and
course.
they're good at their job.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
Yeah,
work
and the
with
people
them
that he brought over, Laurie Holden, Melissa McBride, and Jeffrey DeMunn. Like, so we'll talk a bit more about that after the break.
Cool.
So this is Invasion Pod Snatchers, and see you after the break. One of more from our sponsors.
Ooh, what a mist.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horror-thon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
Welcome back from the break. This is Invasion of the Potty Snatchers, and we're talking about the mist. So Noel,
Cast.
something, yeah, exactly. I was about to say something, and I started like nearly choking on the fucking sweet I'm sucking on right now. and excuse me, I'm dying off here. But yeah, so Noel, we're talking about the cast. I was saying to you before we went to the break, there's a lot of like Walking Dead alumni in this, and there's, like,
An awful lot, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dale is here. You tell me, you're the Walking Dead guy.
Andrea, who's Laurie Holden.
Laurie Holden.
Yeah, and then we have Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, and we have Jeffrey DeMunn, who plays Dale. And they're all like well known with fucking Frank Darabont. But you also actually have Alexa Devlos, who's from Man High Castle. I think Frank Darabont may brought. Did he do that as well? I'm not too sure.
Honestly, can't.
But
But he's
Or something we mentioned before though is like if you have a small cast, you need to have no inklings, and that's what they
no, that's true, isn't it? Because it shines like a sore thumb. It's absolutely awful. Because you stuck with Supernatural, and I wish I did because I kind of got back into it near the end. But I remember in the third season or something, as far as I got, and then there was like a character who's like totes a demon, and I'm like 3,000 years old, and I was like, I can't. It's just it's just that kind of like airhead kind of Western American kind of California girl, and I could not deal.
Yeah.
And it was just this one character that fucking scared me off from it, and that's like it can happen. Like,
I'm actually currently watching Supernatural.
Yeah.
Like we're halfway through season 7. So we're halfway through the halfway point of the show, really.
Yeah,
I've seen
that's 15.
Yeah, I've seen the
seasons.
first 14 seasons. I haven't seen the last one. Lorraine's never seen it before.
So you're kind of like
I've only seen
you're
it all
going on the
once.
landing pad, and you're going to watch
Yeah,
all of it.
I just said fuck it. She's never seen it before, and we just watched Buffy. So stick in the vein. But
actually, these are just examples of things. Directors do stick with people, don't they?
yeah.
And I think it must be sometimes you're thinking, you know what, she'd do a brilliant job of this. He'd do a brilliant job of this. I need to get this fucking shit on the. I need to get this shit on the fucking.
Chewing.
I need to get this shit on the road. Like,
I think though, like when you have like one thing, like Frank Darabont must have understood as well. Like these actors have already operated quite well in a small cast, so they should be able to do it again when it comes to a show like The Walking Dead.
yeah.
because in the first season the core group was quite tight knit and small, and the later seasons you keep adding more and more characters.
People have to die and people have to come in and obviously, and then you have to keep it fresh even with the characters.
And the thing is as well, the bigger the cast, the less worried you are about having weak links, which in turn causes weak characters.
And the less time you have to actually develop or flesh out the characters. Yeah.
Because like no longer is a Daryl getting an episode, and even if Daryl gets an episode, a Yumiko is not going to get an episode, or an Angel Fury's character, I can't remember her name, but Angel Fury's characters, and she's not going to get an episode either. Like sometimes they do, and they get portions of episodes, but it's hard to give that full development.
Yeah,
like when you look like season 1, where you have 5 or 6 people that are very close, so you can give that development all at one time because they're the only characters that you can focus on. But it's very hard when you have an Alexandria, you have a Kingdom, and you have a Hillside, to focus on all these characters and develop them in a specific way, in a kind of like what's the word I'm looking for, is like kind of in a meaningful way. But when you have a small cast and you have good actors, and that's where you can really develop them in a meaningful way, even in a like a 2-hour long movie. You get like a Toby Jones, you get a William Sadler, and you have small roles. It's kind of like what Wayne says in Wayne's World. Roles. Yeah, I know it's a small role, but can't we do better? And they get like Charlton Heston to play the part instead. But that's one thing I love about it, is sometimes you get a small cast, you can actually cast big actors in small roles, and they give so much more meat to such a small corner of the movie.
And this one, it's great. The thing about The Mist, I think when I was watching it was a survival. It was a siege film. If it's just to put it in 2 words, I'd say a siege film. But like obviously the survival game, it ties into that. And
it's a siege from inside and out, like we touched on earlier.
So survival, it's great because everyone's just trying to get through the fucking night.
Yeah,
it's not that they're like have like aspirations for political office or something like that. You know what I mean? Or if they do, it doesn't fucking matter. I thought this did a good. It's really good job. It's
not a case of like take me to your leader. Or something.
No. I thought this did a good job. I thought I very easily figured out who the more swayed Jim, the William Sadler's character. I knew I wasn't like, it was funny when he crossed over, but I wasn't shocked because he was clear. I thought he did a lot with it.
Yeah, he looks like a mentally weak person. Like, you know.
I thought it was tidy that way, wasn't it? Because you were talking about The Walking Dead, but The Walking Dead had years to flesh out. Like this was a 2-hour film. The Walking Dead is now probably a grand total of 100 hours. That was 100 episodes, I assume.
There's like 11 seasons. Like so, like there's 16 episodes in some of the later.
Well, there you go. So 100 was a conservative guess.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a good job inside of a small.
Even after I threw those numbers out, I'm still not sure if it's 100. I'm so terrible at adding up on the spot.
Well, 16 over 11. You're talking.
No, you're definitely
76.
Right. You're definitely right. I've been adding up my fingers here.
But I don't know. I thought the cast was solid. There was absolutely nobody weak in it, and that goes for the good guys, the bad guys. And again, who's
the bad guys?
But that's
she's just a zealot.
Yeah.
That's
the thing. That's the thing that gets lost in people, is that no war has ever been fought by a bad guy. In that, like, we're the bad guys. Everyone's the hero of their own stories. Yeah. He proudly went to fight for Nazi Germany. He proudly went to fight.
It's like
what
Barry Pepper says in Saving Private Ryan. He's like, if God's on our side, who's on theirs?
Yeah.
Like who are they fighting for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How have they gone so far and done so much?
No, I think it's a case of like. Maybe they believe in God too. So like if we're saying we're praying to God on our side to win, what if they're praying for their side to win to God?
Yeah.
Whose side is he on? Like it's kind of a case
the Mitchell and
like,
Webb sketch. And he was like looking around and realised they all had skulls, and even their ashtrays were skulls, and he's just like, Are we the baddies?
Yeah, that's David Mitchell and Robert Webb.
Absolutely.
From the Peep Show, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, they're from Peep Show, but they also had a sketch show.
Yeah, no, just in case people don't know what that show is.
Oh, yeah,
just kind of give people a term reference, because Peep Show's kind of more well known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but just scope out both those shows, they're amazing.
If you're looking for something, geez, you could do an awful lot worse than Peep Show.
Peep Show's amazing. Peep Show's amazing. It's just weird British comedy to do like POV and like introspective thought.
So essentially, it's everyone like acting with a camera lens 4 inches from their face.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and they tried to make it in America, and it's just British humor, man.
Yeah, it's hard.
They did a great job with The Office, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, it's hard to translate. Like, it all depends who's doing the translating as well. Like,
that's actually kind of it as well.
You know, but back to The Mist. So no, like as we said, the cast was pretty tight, and there was very little weaknesses in the Marcia Gay Hard and Jeffrey DeMunn. Like Melissa McBride, even like, as you said, a tiny-year-old woman, a woman that goes to get children, like, and she's like one of the mainstay character.
Oh, your cheat sheet. She's called Woman with 8-Year-Old Child.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Your
like,
cheat sheet.
Yeah, and so like, and that's Melissa McBride now, who's become like one of the biggest mainstays in the entire Walking Dead series.
See, I didn't stick with the Walking Dead. I was like, I know that woman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And she clearly was an actress. She had even that small scene that she was in. That she had the gravitas of somebody who had to face. Who didn't have. She was like, you're not listening to me.
Yeah,
I have an 8-year-old child.
Would somebody see a woman to her car?
Would somebody see a woman to her car? Yeah.
I fucking love that. And as I said to you before we started recording, if you're a dude in a situation like that and you've got no loved ones around, help the fucking woman out. Help the woman out. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you're going to die, at least to be worth something. At least you're trying to save a couple of kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell. Like, you know, if you're in a situation like that, like, you know, just fucking take the woman to her car.
Yeah, you wouldn't do. If there was a tarantula on the door handle, you wouldn't help.
Well, like, maybe not, no. Like, but if there's a trench in the door handle, I'd be like, let's not go outside, there's a trench in the door handle.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I mean? Like,
also a fair point, yeah.
It's like, let's go the back way. I hear Norm.
Let's go through the glass because it's not impenetrable.
Yeah. Like, watch this. I'm going to walk just hard at it and probably put a crack in it. Like, no, my dog, I'll just bounce right off that sucker. Like, so my fucking face is like twisted. Like, it's like... just like
really slow, drawn out.
Yeah, and like you see a bug outside looking at me, like just like pokes my face out. Like, that would be a horrific way for me to go though, like spiders.
Yeah, who had I think the guy who had the worst death was the spider.
Oh, that's a good one. Who had
worst
the worst death?
Because there were some doozies.
Yeah,
like the Shermanator got like kind of sucked. He got like these flesh torn off. He was
sucked off.
Yeah, got sucked off. Yeah,
American Pie joke, so relevant, so relevant.
There was the guy who was killed by all the spider. That was pretty.
Even
bad.
Though
there was the cashier
who
was. You said she's a woman from the Man in the High Castle.
Yeah,
who gets,
Alexa Develos.
She gets basically
such a good
poisoned.
Yeah,
and she dies quite horribly.
Yeah, she gets stung.
Yeah, a stinger in the neck, and she dies.
And like her face just swells up.
Oh, huge! Yeah, and it takes her maybe 50 seconds between the sting and the death.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there's that
imagine
there's the guy who went on fire.
Imagine being Sam Witwer though. Imagine look at his life trajectory, right? How it ends. In a few minutes, he goes from kissing Alexa Develos, who's a smoke show. Yeah, right, gorgeous. After that, insects get in. She gets killed.
She dies in your arms horrifically.
Dies in your arms horrifically. Exactly. Like her whole face swells up and everything. You know what I mean? She didn't even die with her looks.
Jesus.
But can't leave that in. It's up to you. So like she dies horrifically in your arms. And then he gets fucking lynched pretty much, like nearly, like, you know what I mean? Like a mob takes him up after two boys kill him. Like within literally...
He does. He gets stabbed a bunch of times.
Yeah, like within an hour of like
his associates hang themselves.
Like that kind of maybe should have shown us how the film was going to end. As soon as they got a bit of happiness, as soon as the two of them got a bit of happiness, they were dead within, like in terms of the time scale in the movie, about an hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know, which is insane. Like, it's mad though. Like,
and then he was like left out and he was just taken.
Yeah, he was sacrificed.
So, you know what? I think all things, I probably have to maybe still go with the guy who was infested with spider because he was taken at the start. And he was
MP.
He was like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, maybe 4 hours.
No, like a day. It
was a day.
Because remember, it had been nighttime. And then and then it went so probably a day or two.
Yeah. Well, his one in concept was the most horrific, but of what we witnessed, of what we got to see as an audience, that Sam, that was an awful death.
Or you think the
guy you just mentioned? Yeah, from what we've seen.
Yeah, Sam Witwer's his real name. I may give you his character.
From what we actually got to see, his death, I think, was the worst one. Then again, I think
Private Jessup.
Yeah, and as of regards trauma. David, Thomas Jane's David, he just obviously takes it. He killed his own kid.
I think the worst that was Alexa Develos, because could you imagine that? How horrible that would be? That
suffocating.
Like whatever the fuck that injected into her was probably some sort of toxic venom. So it's probably like,
but it probably like something that could take down somebody an awful lot bigger than 112-pound woman.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've been stung a lot by insect, like wasps and stuff over the years, because when I was a kid, we had these big gardens in our backyard. Yeah, my fucking lad was like, we them gardens getting stung like a motherfucker, because he had like and rose bush shit. So like for me, I hate getting stung. So like anytime now, like a wasp comes near me, I wipe that motherfucker out. Unless there's an open window, I'll try to direct it out. But if he starts hanging around, starts flying at me, wasp dies immediately, right? So like in a
unless
case,
it's a bee, and then you're like, sorry,
well, I know the
excuse
difference.
me, sir.
Yeah,
You know?
I know the difference with a bee, like, and a wasp, like, and I would let a bee out because you can tell the difference. But if a wasp are really aggressive, they're always like flying at your face and shit. I'm like, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, and you can tell the difference with their stingers as well. Like, bees is hooked, and I think, and a wasp is straight.
And they're fat little bodies. That's what they would be. Yeah.
But like,
but whatever these things were, they seemed closer to what are they called?
Like
the
mosquito. No, I think
the Americans have an outbreak of them every couple of years. What are they called?
Ticks.
Echinadas, or I don't know, some weird name. We don't have them. But basically every like 7 years or something, that whatever happens, their populations explode.
Is that the yoke that Peter Gregory talks about in Silicon Valley? No. Cicadas.
Cicadas. Yeah, I think it might be
cicadas,
that.
Really loud jokes.
They had a stinger, but they seem to be based loosely on that kind of body type, bigger and kind of. They had the stinger, but they seem kind of loosely based on that.
Yeah, no, I thought that was the most terrific death because, like, for so, like, I always frame it because, like, I am like seriously like. I do not like spiders. I do not like big spiders.
You've always been that way.
You know what I mean? Like, and to come near me, like, I will kill a spider like a motherfucker. The only good thing about me being, I'm a weird arachnophobic. I'm like, instead of running away, I'll be trying to kill it because then I know it's not here anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so I best form of defense is a good offense. You know what I mean? But like seeing that scene though, and I try to put my mind in that character's headspace. Being arachnophobic, if that thing even landed on me,
oh god,
I'd be like, kill it! And I probably would have died straight away. Like, it probably would have put a stinger down my throat. Probably would have deep throated me with a stinger because I would have been screaming like a little bitch.
That would have been in that. That was a pretty bad death. The guy who got covered in the burning kind of toxic webs, and last we see him is like a giant spider crawls up his body and he's completely paralyzed.
That's the old dude, is it? No,
it was one of the guys that went to get. Was it the brother of the guy?
Is it not
that was all burnt to shit?
Is it? Oh, is the one they go to the chemist? Or
it was when they go to the chemist.
Or was there not someone? Oh, the two people died though, didn't they? When they were making a run for the Jeep. Was that not one with the?
Yeah. That's where we lose Toby Weeks. That's where we lose our.
Oh, he gets one of the best deaths. He actually gets cut in half, doesn't he?
He gets taken up and pulled apart. Yeah,
that's kind of like nearly best case scenario.
Yeah.
Or would it be? No,
well,
still alive.
Surviving was the best case scenario, but. Of the deaths, it wasn't the worst.
Yeah, because you die pretty quickly. You go into shock so quickly.
That's why I thought I got the zealot woman. What was her name?
Miss Carmody.
Carmody.
Yeah.
That's why I thought her death was just so left field. Just shot in the stomach.
Yeah.
Not like of all the shit, people getting torn apart by tentacle monsters and stingers from interdimensional fucking, insects and all this kind of shit. Gigantic scorpion creatures. And she gets one shot right in the belly. And as she gets there, she gets a second to think about it. And she gets one in the head. I thought that was so grounded in a film that was not at all grounded.
Do you think it was a case of like maybe the monsters were never going to kill her, so a human had to or some shit?
Yeah, I think it was just like she became like the guy had a limited amount of bullets, and the biggest threat that he had was her.
Yeah.
So he took her out.
Yeah, that's actually that's a good point because that shows how much of a threat she really was.
That shows. And you see, it kind of like I know, like your man had a loaded weapon, so that would obviously people weren't going to fuck with him. But at the same time, that when she went like that kind of went with her.
Yeah,
people were shocked. People were disjointed.
Do you think they should have driven by that dude's pickup truck that they had a shotgun?
Oh yeah,
it's only 200 yards away. That's what he said.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's what I would have been thinking immediately. Like, okay, let's drive by. You can get that shotgun.
Yeah,
because we're going to need it.
And then when you decide you have to shoot everyone in the car, it's real awkward and messy because you haven't got
well, at least you'd be able to Kurt Cobain it. Like,
Kurt Cobain it,
or an ass face if you get it wrong,
or just get everyone to line up and
imagine that. Yeah. Just like we're going to play telescope.
The first one's definitely going to die. I don't think it's going to end well for the second one, but the third one might take a second shot.
Yeah, no, I read this book about Richard Clancy before. I think you might have actually loaned it to me. And he talked about the first time he killed someone with a shotgun up close. Yeah. And he couldn't believe the damage he did. It literally exploded the guy's head.
Oh, yeah. Like a sawn off or something. So it's just designed for it's just
devastation.
It's just devastation, yeah. You die like just sheer shock to the body.
Yeah. I'm surprised, because the first thing, I think the problem with certain people is they don't play enough computer games.
Yeah.
Like, because immediately if I'm in a scenario like that, I'm like, okay, I need to get weapons. I need to get some sort of supplies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need to find a place to fortify and hide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but, and I'm like, need to kill the religious zealot or
Yeah,
knock her
yeah.
unconscious. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, here, Laurie, hold it. Let me hold your hand for a sec. Why? We're going to knock this bitch out, but I can't hit her. But I'm going to put so much force in your arm. So much force. I might break your wrist, but it's a chance I'm willing to take. And just like clock her with your one arm.
Yeah. Or just tell him like a flying fist insect was just in here. You all missed it.
Yeah, it's just like, you just like put the flame, get like a flamethrower, and just like as the insect comes in, you're just like directing it towards her. And it's like, oh no!
Oh no, what have you done? What have you done?
Oh no, it's a misfire.
Or the insect that was on her that decided not to sting her, just kind of give it a little slap.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just like, oh no, I got something in my eye, my depth perception is all whack.
But her death was a good one. Her death was probably my favourite part of the film because it was, again, just the grounded thing inside something that was just so insane. And just the ending, of course.
Yeah, I think it was right though, because like to have a person killer, because it was just like in that situation, the tension,
Yeah.
and it was like, and it came to the case where she's like expiation, let's like, I'm not even sure what that means, and it's like, let's sacrifice the kid. Why is it always end up with sacrificing people?
Just like a woman who was not unattractive.
Yeah,
that was all that was.
Yeah,
but that was when, because they alluded to it earlier, like when she gets talking, she's going to start. But this was the complete and total apex of it. She was exactly what you were afraid of. She had a bunch of followers and she wanted to sacrifice a child. That was it. There was it wasn't a sip like, oh, it's starting to get a bit crazy out there. That was the full realization.
It's very
of
stupid
crazy.
though at times, this movie, when you think about it.
I think, honest to God, you could.
I actually love this movie, don't get me wrong.
No, so do I, but it could have been a series.
Yeah.
Like
no, they tried. Did I hear about this?
No, go ahead.
Netflix had the Mist series. It's very hard to kind of formulate that. It has had the Mist series. but
The Mist.
they did a series of the Mist, and seemingly because of budget constraints, there was no creatures in the Mist, so they had to change what was in the Mist, and I'm not sure what it was.
Oh no, you've lost it.
It got cancelled after season
already.
1. So it explains itself, like, you know what I mean?
No, but if you can't have creatures, forget about it. That's like what was so unbelievably cool about it.
Yeah, it would be like, if to do that right, you could have it like very similar to like a Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they were like shadowy creatures as well. You could have been a bit clever about it, but no, the Mist itself, no.
Yeah, because all the big creatures could have just been silhouettes and stuff.
Exactly.
And then you could have just been getting attacked more by the small creatures.
Yeah, absolutely. That was right. You can be clever, you can be clever in your execution of it, but no, without creatures, you've already lost me. I wouldn't tune in.
Yeah, like I just think when you have a movie like this, if you try to change up the whatever is creating the fear, and people have a certain expectation, it's kind of like harkens back to a Season of the Witch. Like, oh yeah, it's pretty cool having all these masks that come alive, but it's not really Halloween, because Halloween's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And like when you come to making a Mist TV series,
I was thinking about that just today, because we've got Halloween coming up down the line, and I was thinking it is not so far down the line,
just right over there.
But it didn't even tip the cap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like if you have such an important element, it's like, hey, Robert Kirkman, I want to adapt your really cool zombie book with Walking Dead. We don't really have the money. I'm going to replace zombies with puppies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
zombies with puppies.
Yeah, replace it with birds. I'm going to call it the Squawking Dead. But you know what I mean, though? I just think like if you're going to adapt something, you need to keep the most important element of that adaptation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
like, it's just like, I just think there's so many times where you have that lately, though, where people try to half-ass. Oh, I'm going to adapt this, but I'm going to, like, it's going to be an allegory for this, and I'm going to leave this out, and I'm going to have this hinted. And I'm just like, dude, why even bother adapting it in the first place? Like, if you're not going to keep the most important core elements of the narrative, or what makes the scares, or what's the antagonist, what's the point of adapting it? You know what you do? You read the story, take inspiration, create something else, and put a different name on it. And people see that you create that inspiration and it'll be something similar, well, it'll be something totally different, and it just won't be considered a bad adaptation, because it'll be something original and unique.
Yeah.
So if you want to make The Mist or something similar to The Mist, and you don't have the budget to put all these cool creatures in it, then go, okay, let's, instead of make The Mist, we're going to take inspiration, and we'll make something similar to The Mist, but we'll have something different else in it. Like, you know what I mean? Because you can't say, oh, we're copying The Mist, but you can turn around and say, well, you copied The Fog. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it's just you just say, well, it's a shrouded horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I mean? Though instead of if you don't put the mist on it, then people don't have the expectations of what is in that mist or whatever. So if you change the name to whatever, cloud cover,
yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Low hanging clouds, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Nimbus. But like, I just think like if you don't have the tools to make a direct adaptation, then maybe instead of trying to make an adaptation that bears the name of what inspired you to do it, it's better off maybe change the name, change the premise of the story ever so slightly, and keep the inspiration, and then you avoid the direct comparisons. And that's probably what happened to the Mist TV show. I didn't watch it. As soon as I heard there was no insects in it, I'm like, no.
Oh.
It's like literally the reason I enjoyed the movie as much as
also, maybe people shouldn't be afraid to not make things. You know? Like, if you're kind of like, okay, well, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want.
Stuff.
All right, they're down for it, but these are the constraints. Well, those aren't acceptable to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand. We don't have the budgets and that, but it's not acceptable to me.
Like, if someone said to me, I'm like, if I pitch the movie to someone and I go, I want to do this, and this, and this, and they go, we give you 10 million. I go, I don't think I can make that movie in 10 million. Or can I make you a different movie for 10 million?
Yeah.
And the guy goes,
see, there it is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
That's all you have to say.
You know what?
Yeah.
I have another pitch, and it's more grounded.
Exactly.
It would require less.
Give me 2 months, and I'll have another pitch for you.
Yeah.
That's a $10 million
That's it.
movie.
If you like my pitch enough to offer me $10 million,
exactly.
Give me 1 month, 2 months. Let me come back to you with something that I can make for $10 million.
Yeah, or even go, let me turn this into a $10 million
because
movie.
It's just oh my God, like.
You know what I mean? And I think that's probably the problem with like the adaptation where you didn't succeed. Like, you just, and a lot of adaptations, like if you want to keep the name, that's cool, but don't start changing shit so much that when people compare it, you're going to fail in that comparison because you're missing out all the things that made the original successful.
I've said this to you a few times about musicians, for example. I always feel like I know I can think of someone who's just so obsessed with Slash. He's a great guitar player, but all he's ever been is a poor version of Slash.
Yeah,
because he's limited to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're limited to that, but this man is like Slash is the best version of Slash.
Yeah, because you're not going to get better.
Yeah, so you should like be inspired by him and branch out.
Yeah,
and become the best version of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. So you just pigeonhole yourself, and all you'll ever be.
Yeah.
Is a poor man's Slash. That's all you can ever hope to be. It's kind of like if that was
you, I'd be like, be Noel John with hints of Slash.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So I always thought, like, don't, like, not to tell anybody how to do anything, but never do that.
Yeah.
Just that. That should be like the one cardinal rule. Yeah. It shouldn't be me saying it. It should be the cardinal rule.
When I started writing, one thing when I started reading, like, especially Max Brooks books, and I was like, this guy is really, really good at pacing. So I didn't try to imitate his style, but I tried to inspired by his style.
Exactly, yes.
So I'm like, I understand how he paces his story.
Yeah.
And that means, because someone as stupid as me and someone so novice, and it shows how good a writer Max Brooks is, that I'm able to understand his story structure and able to use it to benefit
myself. Without losing the reader.
And it's just constantly there on the edge. And
thank you, Max Brooks. But you're going to write a book that somebody's like, honestly, Max Brooks is one of your favourite authors, because I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all I know is it's something that,
But you'll say the pacing's really good, and I go, do you know where I got my idea, how to learn who I learned pacing from? Max Brooks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's because like when I got my review, the pacing she said was good. I'm like thinking in my head, thank you, Max Brooks.
Yeah.
Because you taught me how to pace action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't try to rob your style, and I didn't try to.
You couldn't rob your style if you tried.
Exactly.
You can only be a poor
Max Brooks. Exactly.
Yeah, you know.
And all I can do is be inspired by his style and create something different.
Yeah.
And that's what, if you look at The Mist and like a TV series and why a lot of these kind of flounder, and maybe like this movie might get remade eventually as a TV series with like maybe more budget or whatever, like, you know, more ambition. But like, I just think if you're going to make something that's so recent, you have to keep the same tone.
Yes.
It's not like The Mist was made in 1975.
No.
And you go, it's a totally different culture now.
Yeah.
Well, even though it kind of is a totally different culture from 2007. But you know what I mean? Which is weird. It's kind of weird. Like, but like, you can't just go and say, oh, we don't have the budget to do this, but we want to keep the brand and hope that we kind of get some of the fans. And that just shouts a cash grab. And that always gets turned away.
Yeah.
But, so unfortunately, we didn't get a Mist TV series. But like, when I look back at this movie, I just think it shows you what you can do on a budget. And like, it shows you what you can do. You can tell a human story and tell a horror story parallel to one another. And not only that, you can actually use them to enhance one another. And I think that's the kind of biggest strength of The Mist, that it uses its human story to enhance the horror, and it uses the horror to enhance the human story.
Yeah,
and
well
because
said,
and
well
because
said.
of that, they run parallel seamlessly. They never get in each other's way until you get that horrific human story conclusion. You know what I mean?
And it was a human story.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It was, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It blended the two worlds, but you're, and that's really like the way you said they get in its own way.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the worst thing. It just gets like the worst thing is when it disappears
He's
of its own
so
asshole.
good at that though, Darabont. He never gets in his own way.
I you know what?
Yeah.
I never knew this man's name. I'm not going to lie. I
Mm.
came here. You sent me the cheat sheet. I didn't know his name coming here. I watched
Yeah.
the film. I'm not as good as you are as getting into like the who and the what and the when.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
obviously 70% of a film is made behind the camera.
Yeah, I like to learn who made the movie just so I can see if they made it.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
really
I know it's great with me, but this is
Yeah.
like I'm now a fan of his.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
Well,
And
you
I know
already
that-
were though.
Yeah, I see that's
That's
an
the thing,
excellent
like,
point.
you
I
already
was.
are.
I just didn't know I was.
Shawshank Green Mile, like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, two of the probably two of the best modern
Pinnacles.
movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Shawshank is a pinnacle.
two of the
film
best
for me.
dramas of all time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like both of them down by Darabont, both of them adapted from Stephen King's works, and same with The Mist. Like, that's what I love about Stephen King. You can say what you want about him, and I haven't read a shit ton of his works, but I've watched a lot of the adaptations from his works. And one thing about him is there's so many different genres that he's actually written in. It's ridiculous. Like, you could never say, do you know, like if an alien came down, you go, you showed him like Christine, you showed him Carrie, you showed him The Mist, you showed him what's it?
Stand By Me
You
or
showed him
something.
Stand By Me. You
Yeah.
showed him You showed him like Tall Grass. Like, you showed him like all these fucking movies.
Mr. Mercedes.
The Shining. Like, you know what I mean? Mr. Mercedes. And you go, guess what? What? They were all written by the same dude.
Yeah.
You're like,
Because that's what
what?
everyone says. Stephen King, the master of horror. Like, yeah. And that's not all he is.
Yeah.
Like, that would be enough.
Yeah,
but
Stephen
that's not
King,
all he is.
the master of modern literature in a lot of ways.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
as I said to you before, he's kind of like the modern Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Because he's so prolific.
Well, in terms of prolificness, yeah. Like, the guy just never stops working.
I say he's had nearly more adaptations than Shakespeare.
Easily.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Easily.
Because a lot of his works have been adapted more than once. Like,
Yeah, I was about to jump on that. The Stand.
Carrie 3 times.
Yeah.
The
fucking,
Stand twice. It twice. You know what I mean?
Even the
Firestarter.
Shining TV adaptation movie.
Oh yeah, and there's a sequel as well.
There's a sequel,
Doctor Sleep,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's probably all in the last 20 years that we named out last 30. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
it's ridiculous. Like, but it's insane when you look at the body of work he's put together.
Yeah.
And one thing I love though when you
Gerald's Game that came out.
yeah, you know what I mean? And like, look at Gerald's Game. Like, I've seen clips from it, and it's like about a woman pretty much tied to a bed after her husband takes a heart attack.
Yeah,
during,
she
like,
kicks him in the dick and he has a massive
during
heart
like a
attack.
sex game or something.
Yeah.
Because they're playing like what tie-in teas as the kids call it.
Yeah.
Saucy. I just had a midgie fly right in my eyeball again. There's one of them always in here.
Yeah, there's
Always. I will destroy you. But like, Noel, so when you look back at The Mist, what did you think and what you take away from what you think were the strengths, and what like, to leave it on the conclusion, like, has there been a film like that that's left a mark? And maybe Red Wedding was the closest in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The ending of that episode, you know, in that amazing seminal 7-season show, like, you know.
Yeah. I just think that it's the kind of film where it's I loved it, but at the same time it wasn't so great or genius that you didn't know why there were some more films like it.
Yeah.
It's so enjoyable. It's
a very doable movie.
It's a very doable movie.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you see something, you're like, wow, this is just levels.
And that shows why Darabont is such a good storyteller, because he actually, it's probably a very complicated story to tell, but he made it look so easy.
Yes.
And that's
Well, that's actually true as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
look at the
that's
TV
when people
series.
do. Yeah, when people do
Yeah.
things really, really well, you just sometimes you don't realize it's just so
It's
fluid.
like you said about musicians earlier, like Slash. It's like, oh, I could learn how to do that, but you can't learn how to do it as easily as him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, he'll make it look so much more easy. You can learn and get to his level,
Yeah.
but you can't transcend to the point where it's just second nature to him.
Yeah.
And like, Slash doesn't even have to think about, like, if you're like, oh, we have to play November Rain, and he's probably like, all right, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
just
he's probably
drill
like,
into his fingers.
take 7 Xanax and
Yeah,
play it
yeah,
amazingly.
absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? He probably doesn't even see the crowd.
Well, that's it.
You know
Yeah,
what
but
I mean?
he's also a product of the work he's put in. Because
Yeah, which is
most
like-
people aren't
Yeah.
amazingly gifted. A lot of people are just subjects to the absolute work he put. And this was just probably somebody who does know his craft extremely
And he
well.
knows the source material and the author's
Someone like
tone.
me looks at it and thinks, yeah, I think that's doable. Now, so I absolutely agree. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I do think from that some shows I see are just so convoluted.
Yeah.
This just seems like God, like if you had just given him if you had made a TV series, given him that, and just given him whatever budget, he would have made a fantastic.
Of course, like look at The Walking Dead.
Fantastic
I
series.
still say to this very day, and I know Seth Gilliam and later on Angela Kang did a lot of the writing and the show running in The Walking Dead, but without season 1, without Frank Darabont doing the initial adaptation, you don't get that season 1. Without that season 1,
That's the foundation.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and within those 6 episodes, I still think he did better storytelling than some of the 16 episode runs of The Walking Dead later seasons. And that just shows you that, like, even someone as gifted as, like, I know Angela Kang has done a great job of bringing the show back and the Whisperer arc and all this thing, because the whole Negan thing dragged on. But, like, I just think when you have someone so talented that can do that in 6 episodes, could you imagine what you would have done with The Mist if they'd given him 6 episodes on Netflix?
That's what I mean, yeah.
And given him the
6 hours just to flesh it out. Have the breakdown of everybody inside the store a little bit dragged out.
Or you could just, like, have them leave the store and, like, they're out in the mist and you can follow a couple of different stories, or people, like, you could, like, or you could even do it in reverse.
I love it. Or
you know
jump time, like you hear a scream, and then the guy that you're with gets killed, and then maybe we look at it, what was going on, who that scream was. Just you could have so much fun with it.
You could have people showing up at the store, and then you can go, like, 6 hours ago and show how they made it to the store.
Yeah,
you know
this
what I mean?
is essentially just another form of dark.
Yeah,
it's just another form of sensory deprivation.
Oh, 100%,
you are just out in it and you can't see for shit.
Yeah.
So you could have so much fun with it. It lends itself to a lot of the horror tropes that we know and love. But inside of what he had, like he made lemonade out of lemons. Like,
he made a fantastic lemonade.
Yeah, he made fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounded regressive when I said that. But he did. I'm just saying with what he was given.
Oh, 100%.
What he said, right, here's what you've given me financially. Not a terrible lot of money, great cast, script, and here, this is what I have for you. And I'm just thinking, well done, sir.
Yeah.
Well done.
And that's what he does, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just such a tidy filmmaker. Like, you know what I mean?
He runs a tight ship.
Yeah, no.
You know, it didn't disappear up its own ass. The story was very straight.
Yeah, and even though it has a lot of dumb to it, it didn't distract away from.
But even
what
the dumb,
was good
like that's
about
what we're saying. The dumb, if you all it was time constraints.
Yeah,
you could have fleshed that out with given time. But a 3-hour film would have been too long.
Because
a limited series, perfect.
You can build up Marcia Gay Harden's descent into kind of
the zealot.
Because you could have done that over 6 episodes, and you could have had her making like, if she's making a sacrifice at the end of episode 6. It doesn't feel as forced at the end of 2 hours.
Yes.
Because, like, you know what I mean? It runs through and you get to see that character progression.
Yeah.
And you can maybe, like, have flashbacks and see her backstory. You can see why she's a religious zealot. Maybe she was abused or whatever, and it all comes back. Kind of like a Carrie type feel to it. You know, that kind of thing. Like,
and that's it. So even just like that, you had a lot to get through.
Long form storytelling allows for motivation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can really build on motives. Like, and I think that's what, like, that's probably the benefit of TV series or movies. Is really, like,
especially now where there's, like, you know, we're watching Marvel shows with a 25 million. Like we watched the Scarlet WandaVision.
Yeah, Scarlet WandaVision.
And that was
nailed it.
That was $25 million an episode. That's That's like 50% more money than this entire film.
Yeah, which is insane.
You know what I mean? Like, so we are living in an age where that is afforded in the right circumstances. Yeah. So I think he did an absolutely fantastic job. Fantastic ending. Loved the film.
Yeah, no, same as Sue, and that ending is ridiculous. And I don't know if it's going to be top for a while in terms of, like,
not sure I want it to be.
Yeah, in terms of the impression it leaves on you, like, you know what I mean?
It's like the dog at the end of that Futurama episode. It's like, I've seen it. It's cool. Well done. I'm good for a while.
It's like I watched Futurama back a couple of years ago, and I forgot about that episode.
Oh, you poor fucker.
And then as soon as the episode came on, I'm like, why is my heart slowly breaking? As my heart slowly weeps.
I was just the end of that. I was just no. Again, but that's what you want. That's what horror should be. Yeah. At least it should be enough of the time that it's not always getting wrapped up in a tiny little
One
package.
thing I loved about this the most, as I touched on earlier about the human elements in the horror, is at the end of the movie, what's the most horrific is what the humans did to one another and not what the creatures were doing to them.
You're absolutely right.
You know
the creatures were just like
there. It's like if a
doing
zoo,
what they would do in their natural environment.
Exactly.
Picking on bigger predators, picking on smaller predators.
Exactly, like it's like if a zoo let out. Like,
Yeah.
and the elephants would just be elephants.
Yeah.
They just walk right through.
Yeah.
And if they walk over you,
Stampeding elephants.
Yeah, they don't mean it. Like
they don't mean it. Not
yeah,
in person.
it's like-
They won't even register you.
like, you know what I mean? Like me and you, fully grown men, would be like nothing to an elephant.
No.
So could you imagine a creature that's hundreds of feet tall? So that'd be like your cat walking by and a fly just buzzes by him.
Yeah.
And the cat's gonna be like, I'm gonna kill that motherfucker.
Yeah, just swipe at.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And you see your cat doing, you go, God, like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, but it is. That's what a film that makes you feel so inconsequential and small. That's a cool thing. With
I think that's the best thing about it. It actually makes you feel really, really small. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, but on that note, we get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of
I'm
here.
done with maybe Medfield small. But all right, motherfuckers. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, John Tui.
And that was Invasion of the Potty Snatchers. And we got Carmack in the back. And we see you next time, motherfuckers. Peace. Bye.